Welcome to another Mind, Body, Spirit panel, this time with three incredible spiritual experts from Arizona. They actually have gotten to know each other directly in real life and hang out together. So I am excited because each of their backgrounds is extremely unique. Each of it is very deep, like the ocean. Each has been on quite often on the shows, whether it's the APL Spotlight Series, Angels, Positivity, and Love, the main show or panels. In fact, Paul Sugar is probably my ringer and number one out of maybe 400, 350 recordings. Marilynn Hughes is starting to get up there, and Elaine Yoshikawa, professor. She's got three parts to her besides being an author: professional musician, software programmer. I'm going to say mystic, actually. Let's make it four. And then professor for like Christian, Buddhist ethics, happiness, stuff like that. You can find her at, I believe, at ASU and only one PhD. I made the mistake of saying she had two once. Marilynn Hughes, I have lost track of the number of books, 100, but it's more like 129, I think, or even 134. We'll see. Um, she has studied every culture, philosophy, spiritual practice on the planet, absolutely loves the contrast and loves exploring this stuff. But she herself, I think all three people here are mystics. She's had out of body experiences, founded the Out of Body Travel Foundation, has over 1 million followers on Facebook. And I'm going to basically leave it at that. She's super sensitive, super well versed, super knowledgeable, just like Elaine. And then Paul Sugar, Stargate Remote Viewer, briefly, 50 years mindfulness meditation teachings, great laugh. A little bit like Billy Crystal or something when he sparkles up, and he loves hiking. But he's got super talents that are still getting brushed off even decades later. He's been talented the whole time, near-death experience and much more. Check all of them out on their appearances on this channel. I think you're going to enjoy them a lot. If you haven't subscribed, I think only, and this is the norm for all channels, only like 25 to 40% of people visiting subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. You won't miss great experts like John Gray. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, 50 million books sold. Trained in India, Trained to Heal Cobra Bites. Check out those episodes. He has now started taking steps on the show. And there are so many other wonderful experts like these three in front of us. Okay, I have stalled long enough. I have, in a rare moment, given the first question away. And this is it. It's a big picture, eternal question. For eons, mankind has asked, what is this all about? Has done spiritual seeking. Every culture does it. Every culture slaps definitions on everything. And yet, the journey seems to be within, and it's not dependent on outside organizations or words or certain practices all the time. In other words, somehow it's bigger than what we can grasp through the brain and through all the books in the world and everything else. How would you describe this journey, Paul, that we're all on for humanity? And what is it that we're supposed to discover more of? How are we evolving? You can handle this question any way you want. I just tossed you the $1 trillion question.
Yeah, so I'm going to give my short answer first, and then I'm going to beat around the bush. So, so it's just the opposite of what other people usually do. Usually people beat around the bush and then finally they get to the point. I'll get to the point first, and then I'll have some fun beating around the bush. My feeling is that this journey that we're all on can be accessed and understood through the heart. And I would recommend that everybody spend some time focusing their attention on heart-based matters, heart-based feeling, heart-based experiences. So that's my short, direct answer. Now, to beat around the bush, the book. Maybe I read a book about, maybe I should write a book about this. All right. So the other part of our human vehicle that is talked about a lot is the mind. I mean, we could say brain or mind or whatever you want to call it. And what I've noticed is that the mind gets a bad rap. And because so many people, for example, have this compulsive thinking situation that they have to deal with. Many of the people that come to my classes are oftentimes concerned about these incessant thoughts, a lot of them negative, in fact, that are constantly going around in their head, and they want to know what they can do to slow it down or stop it. And so, what I've noticed over the many years that I've been doing this is that the brain slash mind has really gotten a bad rap. My conclusion there is that the mind is greatly influenced by the biology of the body. And what I've noticed in myself and others is that we're all going through periods where we have a tendency to get stuck in the fear mode, the fight or flight mode. And biologically, what happens at that point is we get pummeled by stress hormones, adrenaline, so forth and so on. The emotional component would be fear and all of the different iterations of fear, whether it be anxiety or anger or hatred and so forth and so on. But these stress hormones have a direct effect on the mind slash brain. And what happens is it influences the kind of thoughts that come in and out of the mind. And it influences them in a negative way because the fear is influencing the thought that's going on. And so once we're able to change our biology through various methods, whether it be mindfulness, meditation, breath work, you name it. Once we're able to influence the biology, get that autonomic nervous system out of the fear mode, it will eliminate all of those stress hormones, the fear hormones. And so the mind will be free to return to its original state, which in my experience is stillness and silence. My experience with the original state of the mind is such that we get to a point where it's still and it's silent, and then we can choose what we want to think and when we want to think. It's at that point that the mind syncs up with the heart, and the two of them go hand in hand into the cosmos, working together. So that's my beating around the bush. That's the long answer, which came after the short answer. So I hate to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So we need to really understand the mind and know how it partners up successfully with the heart.
Paul, a 10-second follow-up question before we go to Elaine. Uh, and these are quick ones. Is love the fabric of the universe?
Yes.
Okay. And then if love is a constant and it's in us and around us and only thinking something or whatever pulls us out of it, is there not quite equally, but there's a slipstream of global unconsciousness going on as well? Unlove, call it what you will, a little bit of fear, a lot of fear, whatever you want to call it. Is that also in existence?
Yes.
Okay, last question to what you just said. Are there, I don't want to get too into this, I don't even want to touch on it today, but are there organization groups or forces that are pushing a little bit of fear to help influence your thoughts on a negative side? And so it's doubly important or just amazing if you can let it go and get back to your heart. Can you say that better?
You said it pretty well. My answer is yes. I think if we're even the least bit awake and paying attention, I think we all notice that these things are in fact going on, um, and which is one of the many, many reasons why we want to be paying attention and awake so that we can choose whether to go along with it or not.
Beautiful. So our national news channels might not necessarily be our best Zen guides, but on the other hand, this can be a good Zen guide as a reminder to remember what that's for you to decide. Elaine, we're going back to you now with this big question. And if you don't mind answering it also the way we just touched on, any which way and loose, though, would be fantastic. And Elaine, we know you've been living the spiritual experience since you were a little girl and have had amazing experiences, but also amazing career paths. You've seen a lot, done a lot. What do you know today about all this?
Um, I think that I'm going to use Paul's uh let's see, path from heart and his discussion from heart to mind. And I want to go a little bit deeper into the mind because I was trained as a philosopher. So I always bring that perspective in. And I think that what people, I think it would be helpful if people use, I'm going to bring in Plato's structure here. The idea of, well, there's a realm that's really real. He calls it the realm of being. There's a realm that's also a little bit less real, and that's the realm of becoming. So the realm of becoming is the material world, right? It changes, it's temporary, but we live in it and we have to be able to negotiate it. So it's important that we know things in that world. Now, those of us who are a little bit more spiritual, we live in the realm of being, and we know things in a very different way. And I'm going to stretch the idea of mind because I think in the realm of becoming, where it's a little bit less real, we're using the mind, the idea of the mind, in a very intellectual way. Okay, so it's not a broad idea of mind. Um, and when we know things like, well, the sun is 93 million miles away from the Earth. That's a fact. And so that's one way of knowing things at that level. So when you go up to the realm of being, the way we know things is completely different. Okay, but we're using our mind, but it's also merged with the heart. And it's also merged here. I'm going to be a little different from Paul because I always bring in God, but the God, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Judeo-Christian God. It can be spirit, it can be whatever universal force that you're drawn to, have an affinity to. And so in that realm, when you're using the word know, it's if you know something in that realm, for example, infinity. I love the word infinity. And it sounds like from the realm of becoming, if you're just talking intellectually, it's not very interesting and it's not transformative. However, if you use the word in the realm of being, what you know is transformative. It changes you, it changes your perspective, it brings you closer to God. The more you delve deeply into that particular concept of infinity. So that vastness, um, the world of wonder, the world of awe, it's magical. Um, and that gets closer, I think, to your essence of who you are, of what you are, um, how vast you are, because then there you can go into the multidimensional planes. There you can go into multidimensional timelines. You can watch them collapse. You can watch them separate. You can see the angelic realms. So you're having all kinds of different experiences. And that knowing, that transformative knowing, is what sort of opens the door to it. And so it's a matter of merging mind and heart and allowing God in. So that's the way I think of the journey. And so now I'm doing spiritual teachings, and all my spiritual teachings are going towards that.
Beautiful. And before I get to Marilyn, two of our panelists are well known for their out-of-body travel experiences, but you don't have to answer, Elaine, but have you had out-of-body experiences? Have we not? You all have met each other quite a bit, and you've all been on the show here, but that's something, Elaine, we've never brought up out loud. one way or the other. Have you had out of body experiences that you just want to nod thank you? Okay, so it's no mistake that the three of you are hanging out together, and we're going to Maryland. Maryland, you've already got a million ways you can slice this one. I'd just like to talk about your passport for a little bit and how much it's been stamped off world. You've done a lot of travel, and it happened. I always get the age wrong, but at 7 or 9. And then you kind of fought it until, and I get the age wrong again, till 27, maybe. And then you got 22, and then you got jiggy with it a little bit. And then you later started the foundation, but you've been traveling all over. Can you take 45 seconds and just sort of encompass that in a better defined way for the audience? And then hit us up with your take on everything.
Sure. Well, basically, yeah, I had this really beautiful experience at the age of 9, and it kind of gave me a foreshadowing of things to come. Came back at the age of 22. Then I started having, experiences that slowly formed this sequence. I was writing a journal of them, realized that they were forming this trajectory that I was experiencing like a path, that there was a formula to it. And so I started writing it down. And that's kind of what led to the foundation and to all the books and all the things that eventually came about. That it wasn't just, these spontaneous out-of-body experiences, that there was actually more to it, and that it progressed. It continued to progress into higher and higher experiences. But if you wouldn't mind, would you mind repeating the original question to help me to focus on my answer for that?
Sure. In one sense, what's it all about? In another
Okay.
sense, that heart journey, going within, beyond the world that you know. I'm kind of quoting Seth, and I'm also quoting someone else. Seth, the 1970s light being. People can meet him, only one who doesn't show up in human form. You're going through what you knew into your heart, and then later into a broader reality to emerge into something broader. A lot of people, though, would argue it's organizations, workshops, this philosophy, this culture, this religion, words, and everything else. Can you talk to us about how it's a lot less about what we thought it was? It's not about grasping.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
what's it all about? I like Paul's approach, which is give the easy answer first and then kind of go on the meandering tour, which is, it's about love. So it is about love. And the reason it's about love is because God is love. And I've spoken a lot about how people look at love from the earthly standpoint, and that love is actually an emanation. It's not what we view it as here. And so the first thing we have to do in understanding what that means is understanding what love actually is as an emanation. But bringing it down to the simplicity, I want to go to a simple Zen story, which is, a lot of people have probably heard this story, which is, the Zen master says, so what do you do before you achieve enlightenment? And he says, I go out and I carry water and I cut wood. What do you do after you achieve enlightenment? I go out, I carry water, and I chop wood. And, so this is the simplicity of enlightenment, which is that what changes is the nature of how we understand our lives, how we understand our existence, and the internal experience of it. It's not that the external expression of it necessarily has to change so dramatically. Sometimes it does in certain ways, but that's what the Zen tale kind of tells. So, what is the bigger picture? The bigger picture is that we are here to achieve knowledge. And, I've spoken to you many times about how knowledge is not information, it's vibration, right? So, so in these experiences that we have in the out-of-body travel state, we first experience the vibrational experience. We experience vibration when we are separating from our physical body into our spiritual body. But we quickly go into the place where the angels and our teachers are raising our vibration. And the purpose for doing that is to make us become compatible to higher and higher realms of learning and knowledge. It's not like a pointless endeavor. It's actually to make us able to achieve higher realms of knowledge. But it's also giving us the ability to travel to higher and higher realms of knowledge. We can't travel to these higher places if we're incompatible. In the out-of-body travel spheres, if you try to go to a sphere that you are not compatible to, that your vibration is too low for, you actually feel as though you're being crushed. It's like really, really painful. And, you often will be actually given this experience just so you understand it, so that oh, this is why you have to do this, why we have to go through this vibrational raising process. Because if I'm not made compatible, I'm not taking the steps to go higher. So this understanding of, well, what's it all about? It's about this achieving this knowledge. Well, what is this knowledge? A lot of it is self-knowledge. It's the knowledge of the self. Some of this is what Paul is talking about. It is uncovering these personal impediments, these fetters, these cravings, these hindrances that are keeping us from being able to release and be able to achieve higher and higher states. But another thing that Paul talks about, which I think is very important, and I'm bringing something up he hasn't talked about yet right here, but he talks about it a lot of times, is learning how to embody this knowledge, this vibration in the physical body itself, which is, so how do we then live? How do we bring this heaven to earth that we are experiencing, that we are being given, the vibration that is being generated in us? We are bringing that back to earth. How do we then bring that into our bodies so that we can live that in our physical life? And that goes back to the Zen story, which is, how do I then embody that and go out and chop the wood and carry the water in a very different way, in a state of enlightenment? And that's where I throw it back to Paul, because this is where Paul, he talks about how important it is, he teaches these mindfulness classes. How do we then bring that back to earth?
What's it all about, Alfie? Love Actually. Love Actually. And is that so? Just doing a Zen pun there. Okay, we're going to do a two-step with Paul. And the first step is, Paul, can you tell us something about Marilynn that the audience needs to understand why her words resonate so much? Can you just plug her for a second, like you're her New York City publicist, even though you're in Arizona? Okay, Paul, what do we need to know about Marilynn?
Well, I'll start with the simplicity. Marilyn is the real deal, period. I've spent 5 or 6 decades um, on the inward journey. And at the same time, I've met many, many people outwardly who are in this field, the field that all four of us occupy. And I've learned how to recognize the real deal and the not so real deal. And and I know that Marilyn is the real deal. And I've been telling her that ever since I met her. I am just so blown away by what she has accomplished on her personal inward journey, and also outwardly, writing all of these books and helping other people, counseling, doing spiritual counseling. She does so many things in the body and out of the body as well. She helps people in the body and while she's out of the body. So I would recommend to everybody that they make a connection with Marilyn and become familiar with her inner work and her outer work.
Well, it reminds me of a
Very kind.
Grimes song. That's the X to Elon Musk. Grimes, the alternative music singer, "Be a Body," but it's actually, I think, "Be a Bodhi," Bodhi. So I'm doing a pun there. Paul, you get a follow-up question to this big picture topic that all three of you have taken a shot at. You can ask it to both Elaine and Marilyn, but could you start with Marilyn and do a sharp follow-up question? What do we need to know about what all of you have said? Let's start drilling in just a little bit. Look, there are, and I'll throw in some fuel for the fire. There's no fire, but there's a lot of pressure going on today. A lot more contrast. boy, did I think, like, for example, in the 1980s, late 80s, there was a huge pendulum swing happening for thought patterns and that had been turned up and you had to think a certain way. But I think today it's even more extreme. Can you ask Marilyn something that gets her going on a whole nother direction, taking us somewhere? What's your question for Marilyn?
Okay. Well, before I ask Marilyn the question, we could take turns doing Zen jokes. Can I tell a 10-second Zen joke?
Sure.
Okay. What did the Zen master say to the hot dog vendor? Make me one with everything.
Love it.
Yeah. Now I know some people have probably heard that, and I know I've told Mike that many times because I keep forgetting that I tell him the same joke over and over again. The second part of that joke is so the Zen master said to the hot dog vendor, I gave you a $20 bill. I know the hot dog doesn't cost $20. Where's my change? So the hot dog vendor says, well, your change comes from within.
I love it. And I'll add one quick one that I know none of you have heard because I only remembered it on a run today. It's been on the shelf for too long. What did the grape say when the elephant stepped on it? Nothing. He let out a little wine. Okay, Paul, what's your question? Paul, what's your question for Marilyn that takes us up a notch on this big picture, planet Earth? A lot's going on. Can we sit back though and just trust more, worry less? Is there something bigger going on? What are you going to ask Marilyn?
Yeah, well, I think you kind of prefaced this with a question. Maybe you didn't even hear yourself ask the question, but your question was perfect, and so I'll speak for you. And that is all these things that the four of us talk about.
Mhm.
People want to know, how do we get there? And so I'll ask Marilyn to talk a little bit about how do we get there?
How do we get there? Well, great question. And one of the things I talk a lot about to people is the path of mystical theology, not necessarily the most popular subject, but mystical theology is the science of the soul. And this is, people think of it differently than what it really is, which is this synthesis of the self-examination, which is how we begin the path of purification. So let me back up a little bit there. The path of purification, which is by looking inward rather than outward, right? There's so much in our world today where people are so focused externally. And there's a lot of people that, well, they're looking externally and very focused on making judgments and things on things going on around them. And they're not realizing that that's not where their point of power is, right? Their point of power is on what can I do internally, because this is what I can change, this right here. And so what we have to do is recognize that the very fact that we are incarnate here on earth means that we are here because we have this path of purification to undergo. This is the type of realm that we are in. It's a mortal realm where the karmic purification is undertaken. And this also means that the battles between good and evil rage within us and all around us. So it's always going to be going on around us. We know this, but it's also going to be going on inside of us. And so we begin that by this intrusive self-scrutiny, this internal journey that we take where we look within and begin this process. Now, in out-of-body travel, one of the benefits of out-of-body travel that I'm always telling everybody is out-of-body travel, when you start the practice and you are traveling along, you will be shown things, and you're shown it in a way where energetically you're shown things about your soul and yourself energetically in such a manner that you understand where the energy is off, where you might be misunderstanding something about truth, where you might be just understanding something incorrectly, where you might just be wrong about something. And energetically, it is shown to you. It's a configuration. And so what it does is it accelerates your path where, like if you only do this physically, you can spend years. You can spend 20 years on a habit, a bad habit, or on things like that, trying to overcome something. Whereas with out of body travel, sometimes it can be accelerated because you will be taken into the energetic truth of your hindrances, your fetters, your cravings, the things that you are doing that are taking you away from God, that are pulling you away from the forward movement, which is where you want to be moving towards, where you want to be going towards God. And so this is where we begin. We begin right with ourselves, with that self-examination. And once we start that path, um, everything accelerates, whether you do it through an out-of-body travel journey or you actually instigate it physically because you're not having those experiences. And so you decide, I'm going to just start this process myself and do my own self-examination, things start getting accelerated. And so even people who may not have these experiences might start having some where they start getting direction into where they need to go next. And so what this does is it accelerates your spiritual path and directs you to higher and higher and higher levels of understanding. If you are having out of body experiences, it will help to open the way to the higher and higher spheres of existence where you can then travel to higher realms. And so this is why it's so important. We forget, and it's very easy. You can see how in the world it's so easy to distract people. Just get them to think about what everyone else is doing, and then they won't focus on what they're here for, which is the self-examination, which is necessary for our spiritual development, right? So simple, you know?
Elaine, we're turning to you, and you've got a tricky setup because here we just talked about an interdimensional car wash to get cleaned up. Call it the OBE car wash, call it what you will. Call it a love bath with love bombs. Okay, Elaine, make sense of all this though for us. If someone just came in, they're probably like, whoa, whoa, this is big, heady stuff. How do we know it's simple? How do we know it's about the heart?
I just have two words. Go within. If you if you stay within yourself, you'll find everything you need, all the answers. You don't need a teacher. You don't even need crystals. Like I have a whole bunch of crystals behind me. But you don't actually need them, right? Because whether you realize it or not, you've already arrived. You're already there. But society has put on all these levels of beliefs and values and things that you grow up with, that you've been habituated with, indoctrinated with. And I think the hardest thing is to allow yourself to accept yourself. And and you have to accept yourself with love. And that's where God comes in, because God helps you to love yourself because, as Marilyn said, God is love.
Brilliant. And I will throw in all that is in kind of capital A, T, and what is the other one? I.
I.
All that is, yeah. All that's all. Okay, we're going to go in some direction, but Elaine, you're going to get to ask your co-panelists here the question. What is the question?
Okay, so the theme, I think, is love, and it could be capital L or small l. Um, in this world, there's a lot of discord. And as Marilyn said, there's a lot of discord within. Um, what do you think is the best way to go about learning to love yourself and loving others?
Who are you directing it to?
Oh,
Who-
either,
Who's your first
whoever wants
victim?
to jump in.
Paul.
Okay, I'm jumping, boss. I'm jumping. All right, so I've practiced many different approaches to accomplish that. And they all have value. I picture all of these different approaches like a wagon wheel. So you've got the hub with all the different spokes. I've explored the spokes and I've come to learn and to understand and conclude that it's the hub that's the most important because it keeps all the spokes aligned and together. What I have discovered for me, and I think for many others, they have the same discovery, is that attention, getting into the field of mindfulness, attention is a big deal. Elaine talks about going within. Well, how do you do that? The and of course in the Zen tradition, many traditions, they talk a lot about attention. So you go within by focusing your attention. It's all about attention. Where do you place your attention? And once you place your attention within, things begin to change, things begin to open up. One of the first things that I learned when I was, well, when I was doing out of body travel for the second time, remote viewing and so forth and so on. Let me just give a brief wrap up here. When I was a very young person, maybe from the age of 7 to 12 or 13, I would go out of body consciously every night. I would just lay in the bed. I would sort of put myself into a focused state by focusing my attention. And I would, after a short period, I would see little dots of color. And I knew I was on the track then because once I hit the little dots of color, I would feel pins and needles throughout my whole body. And then the next sequence would be I'd be out of the body. Those experiences stopped when I hit puberty. Something happened where I wasn't able to do it anymore. But then it returned again when I was 21. And it started with a kind of remote viewing that the Stargate people never even knew about. And and I never bothered to tell them about it either.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, and I would be laying down in the bed, not sleeping, completely awake, and the inside of my head would open up to a TV screen. And through the medium of attention, I was able to view any place in the world just by shifting my attention. I also noticed that there were currents and waves that were involved in my experiences, and that if my attention wasn't really focused, those waves and currents would take me all over the place, and I wouldn't be able to go where I wanted to go. So I learned the importance of training the attention to be present, because that allowed me to choose where I wanted to go with this remote viewing, with this inner television in my head, and put me in charge of making those decisions. When I, shortly after that, started having spontaneous out of body experiences, I discovered the same thing, that those same currents existed out of body. And out of body travel is different than remote viewing. Remote viewing happens in the body, out of the body travel, not to sound too obvious, it happens out of the body. But outside of the body, I discovered, in my experience, that those same currents existed, those same waves. It's very similar to the ocean. You've got the currents, and the waves, and the weather changes. And for me, it was underlined for me once again how important honing my attention was. And because that allowed me to stay in the out of body state and to have those experiences. Whereas if my attention wavered and the currents started to hit me, I would get thrown back into my body. And it was right around that time that I was learning how to meditate. And I came across the tradition of mindfulness, which is really about honing the attention, being able to keep the attention in the present moment, using the body as the gateway to the present moment experience. And so I started practicing that. And along with other meditation approaches as well. But I always felt like, getting back to where I started, I always felt like the hub of the wheel was this mindfulness, this ability to keep one's attention in the present moment by focusing that attention on the body. I found that the body was the key, that it was the true gateway into honing that attention experience. And so once the attention gets honed and you've trained it, then we're able to go inward and have the experience that Elaine was talking about, that inward experience, going inward. So for me, I found that my first requirement to go inward was to hone that attention. And I learned that, oddly enough, through the remote viewing and the out-of-body experiences. I didn't learn it while I was in the body. I learned it while I was out of the body, which underlines what Marilynn was saying about how important out-of-body experiences can be to our evolution. For me, it was a quantum leap and just a tremendous help for me and such an important field.
Marilynn, how are you going to answer this question from Elaine?
Well, I mean, I would like to leap off of what Paul's saying about attention, because a lot of what I try to get people to think about is really quite related to attention. And attention, the way that Paul is describing it, this is the spiritual attention, the attention of our soul, the type of attention that we're trying to achieve in meditation and in our spiritual body when we have out-of-body experiences. This is all part of the practice, right? So like when we're talking about the discord that we see around us, so let's say we have like someone who's watching this who doesn't practice these things, doesn't know what doesn't know what we're talking about, right? Well, you can take the idea of attention and just take it up against what you're experiencing. And it can be something as simple as, am I experiencing anger? Am I experiencing rage? Am I experiencing dislike, hatred of another human being? Or am I experiencing love? Am I experiencing kindness? Am I experiencing compassion? And then what you do is you recognize, you stop. So if this is someone who's never had any spiritual training, practice whatsoever, this is where you're going to start with your spiritual practice. Like, oh, I'm angry. Stop. Attention. Okay, I'm feeling angry. Why am I generating anger or rage? And then you have to ask yourself, what is going on inside of you? What is going on around you that is allowing you to generate this? Is this really an authentic emotion? Because what's happening with all the discord is there's all this external data. People are getting riled up over things that really don't have, in a lot of instances, don't have anything to do with them, right? So people are angry, they're pissed off, excuse my language. They're what do you call that? Like they're just generally upset, right? Have a general upset, and they're not really stopping, taking attention and taking note. Is this something that actually is within the realm of my control? Is this something that is within the realm of uh, is this something that is actually really pertaining to me personally? Is this something that, does this make sense? Does this make sense that I am this angry? And then you can take it on the other side, because we know that when we experience love, compassion, kindness, sympathy, goodness, whatever, these are, things that are being generated by uh, the better self that we have. We have a lesser self, we have a better self, we have angels of virtue, we have angels of vice. And so you need to take that attention, stop yourself, and actually take the time to analyze what you're experiencing and decide whether or not you can stop that, whether it's necessary. And if it's not necessary, this is actually part of the practice that we entail in the spiritual life, where we stop ourselves. It's like, oh, why am I feeling that way? And so it can be whether it's this discord that we see all around us, but it can also then be taken back into our own personal lives, our own personal discord, where people then learn how to take a look at their these things, and they stop, they take attention, they take notice, and they actually give it more thought as to what they are giving into, and whether or not the feeling, because remember, feelings are not truth, and so you have to you have to kind of separate the feeling so that you have the opportunity to actually look at what you believe is generating these strong feelings either way, to give you the chance to really identify what is happening, and then decide, make a choice, rather than being, this is what is, in the out-of-body travel realms, this is what is called karmic chaos. They're actually purgatorial realms that are designed around this. It's the chaos realms, where souls bounce off of each other in their karmic programs. We're seeing a lot of that right now in the earthly sphere, a lot of bouncing off of one of another. And it's happening because there's a lot of uh, just people are not thinking, they're not stopping, they're not doing what Paul is talking about. And ironically, the practice of mindfulness would be very helpful in this day and age, right? To help people to pull that back. To have that gut level reaction is almost always karmic, which means that it's being generated by a negative force rather than a force that would come from the eternal, which would be coming from a higher space, coming from a God, coming from the universal live stream. A karmic force would be coming from something more from below, something that is coming from something that's running against life, going backwards, something that's coming towards life, moving towards life, towards light. That's going to be something that's more eternal. We want to be responding to those forces that are coming from the eternal, not responding to those things that are moving away from life, because those things are pulling us further away from our goal, which is to move higher and higher towards light and life.
Beautiful. Elaine, she was just talking about feel what you feel what you feel, do not judge. Grow your awareness, not your thinking. I'm gonna point something out. I'm trying to think what it was. Can you if this is Angels, Positivity, and Love, the show, we've touched on love, and I'll just quickly check the box on positivity. Quoting an angel, probably Archangel Michael, positivity is abundance. But back to the first word in the title of this show, or this panel, Mind, Body, Spirit panel. Angels, do they exist? And I'm jumping here. We're going to get back to the big stuff in a second. Do they exist, and who's been your favorite angel to date? None of the other angels out there are going to take offense if you're highlighting one angel. Elaine, who's your favorite angel? Do angels even exist? What do people need to know watching about these loving beings that are here in and around us and living with us every moment? You're always getting the easy questions. I don't understand why.
Oh man. Okay.
Are we alone in the universe?
Oh no.
Have you
Never.
had experiences with angels?
Yes, many.
Okay, are angels pretty cool and can help out?
Okay. So it depends on the situation, which angel comes into view. Um, my very first angel, I didn't even know who it was. It was, I was in a retreat with a fairy ambassador, and we did breathing exercises. And then all of a sudden, this huge bright light came into my being, really. And I knew it was an angel, but I couldn't see because it was so brilliant, so bright. And I kept asking, who are you? Who are you? And then the only thing I kept getting back was Metatron, Metatron. And I didn't know who Metatron was. So afterwards, I had to go and look it up. Um, so that was my first experience with an archangel. And then since then, I've been working with Archangel Gabriel in healings. Excuse me. Yes, I think they exist. At least they exist for me. Um, they are amazing beings of light and love and acceptance, and they're messengers of God. Um, they help you on your journey, they encourage you. So, short answer is yes.
Okay, well, unfortunately, you put your foot in it on a panel like this because we're going to have you take a couple steps, but it can be anything you want and you can pass. It's okay. But I'm going to just show a couple quick photos of like Gabriel, some archangels, and Metatron. Taken over my home a long time ago. There's archangels in the V, but Metatron right there, the little guy. And I know we're looking through three screens. It's not that helpful, but lock Metatron in, feel a little extra bump of energy, and I'll just hold it up if anybody wants to get the archangels coming in, feel more goosebumps, feel a whoosh, feel light. If you want to see sparkles in the room around you, no limits is no limits. Here's Gabriel another way. Once again, lock in however you lock in. You may already just do it organically. And here's four archangels, rainbow pie slices. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, three cropped off down below, impossible names, but Shamuel, Jophiel, Zadkiel. Okay, Elaine, do you mind playing psychic, medium, intuitive, expert, spiritual coach, spiritual teacher, letter goer for just 1 second? If anybody at home wants to do this, throw finger paint everywhere, breathe extra, ask angels to come in, get you out of your head into your heart. It's got to be your way of doing it. Both of you are next. So, Paul, Marilyn, get ready. Elaine, could you ask one angel to come in? But it could be all three that we've talked about: Gabriel, Metatron, and someone else. It could be Michael. I've got Michael over here somewhere. Uh, just say got it, and they'll have something to deliver to all of us when they do. Here's Michael in a more yawn circular way. People say orbs nowadays, but whatever. Don't light energy is light energy. They can show a million different ways. The bird on your porch to with your eyes shut, full on, eyes open. Elaine, let one of them come in, three of them come in, and
Mhm.
when you've got some words for us, share them if you could.
Sacred Heart. The what I'm seeing is the action of merging with the Sacred Heart. It could be the Sacred Heart of the universe. I know um, there's a religious element to that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be within the religious tradition. Um, the Sacred Heart is also the universal heart. And so when you merge with that, given all the discord outside, um, whether it be political or in a relationship or in your career, um, the merging with the vibrations of the Sacred Heart, that helps you to keep all of that at bay and keep you centered within your God.
And before we jump to the other two panelists, I'm going to read three quotes to you to inspire you, but you may just be coming up with your own mantra via archangels, Metatron, what have you. Here's just a couple of quotes to get you going. And then if you don't mind, once again, tapping the infinite love within and around you. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. You can be happy now in this moment without a single reason. Angel said that one. And then Chogyam Trungpa in 2014, Rinpoche, if I've got to say that word. I was saying Rinpoche for a decade plus. Whoops. Okay, the way to experience nowness, the way to experience nowness is to realize that this very moment, this very point in life is always the occasion. Well, Elaine, once again, the other foot's in the bear trap of the panel here. You're in that very moment, in this very occasion. Can you reach deep one more time, but deliver us in mantra form, simplified? You're an expert today at simplicity. What's this all boiling down to? Combine those other two quotes. You could be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. And then archangels can come in and just flash that bumper sticker to you. What do you have for us that the audience could run around for the next 3 weeks repeating 30,000 times because they're really assiduous, something like that. They're really keen on letting go and being more love.
The lemniscate, right? Infinite love. So I'm just getting the symbol of the infinity, the infinity symbol, like it's an eight right on its side.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Beautiful. And I just had a bunch of Lions Gates pop up, and I'm going to do a quick multi-dimensional exercise or seeing auras out of Celestine Prophecy this way. But in India, they do it this way. And as Sue Frederick, who's a neighbor of all of yours in Arizona, said, hey, back in the 70s, before that movie Celestine Prophecy existed, we were already seeing light on our fingers that way. So I'm going to show some light on my fingers. You can just check out and you're off the hook. All you have to do is say a couple colors that you're seeing. The second all of you have said something, I'm going to go bigger, wider. Let archangels come in, loving beings. You may get the infinity wave. Yeah, you may get the infinity sign. You may get more. People have gotten cardinals, phoenixes, geometric patterns. We had a 5 times near-death experience, former doctor, now psychotherapist up in Canada who founded a big international organization. She saw Jesus's face, and that'll come out in January of 2026. Here it goes. The most important thing is you're getting another dad joke. And it's Bert and Ernie Sesame Street. You've all heard this one, but they never get old. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. What's Ernie say? Sure, Bert. Catch a little bit of light between my fingers, a little slipstream, a wisp. Paul, what are you getting for colors or flow? What do you see?
Just white.
Good. White's all the colors combined. The only thing bigger is rainbow light. You get rainbow light, hit pause, and run out and go for your 20-mile run or buy a lotto ticket. Marilyn, what are you getting between my fingers?
I saw the white, but I also saw a dark royal blue.
Yay, you're invited back on. Okay, Elaine.
I saw the white, but now it's looking like lightning electricity.
Okay, and let's ask for more. So each of you know how to make great requests. You guys are manifestors big time. You guys should all be teaching together sometime in a new sort of organization. Duh. Okay, allow. No try Yoda. I'm going to do Yoda's voice. Let all the different loving beings we've touched on. Jesus, Plato is really good at this too. Let them bring something in. Enjoy. Do not. There isn't a try. Okay, Marilyn, what are you getting now in the big flow here? Getting extra?
No.
Okay, Paul, what are you getting?
Just lots of rings.
Okay,
Rings,
you got to
rings of
describe rings. Are
light.
they Olympic rings or onion rings?
The more like the Olympic rings.
Okay, good enough. Oh, and could you name a couple colors if you're seeing colors?
I'm just seeing mostly white today for some reason.
Okay, no worries. Elaine,
I'm seeing an image. I don't know who it is.
ask Metatron to come in or Gabriel, whoever your favorite is or whoever's volunteering.
It's an ascended master.
Okay, and then one layer of detail. You can't leave us all hanging for decades to come as somebody comes in and watches this panel. So ask for a little extra help from like Gabriel, Metatron. Who is it? Have them cough up the name.
Oh, they keep changing.
Ah,
Um, okay, right now it's Mother Mary.
perfect. Okay, we're coming back to you, Marilyn. So I'm going to go back. You get a new dad joke, more importantly. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU. Just see a little flow light. What color are you getting now?
That's white.
Good. I'm going to go a little bigger, but not too much. And just allow for what you can allow for. Maybe just more white light. It will be what it is. No triota. Always try Archangel Gabriel. They're both correct. What are you getting now for just a little something?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, no worries.
I'll make a comment that I saw the same image of the person that Elaine saw. But for me it was a male. For Elaine it was a female. And as soon as we shifted into the next subject, that image disappeared.
You can ask Joy who it was if you don't mind having her cough up the name and just coughing it out loud for all of us. Who'd you
Yeah,
get?
for me it was a Jesus type of figure.
I don't have a mic to drop. It's too big. I might break my foot. I dropped it on the clipboard. So good. We're going to get an angel to suggest the topic, and we might as well just do Archangel Michael. But it's game show time. You all have buzzers. I sent you the buzzers by FedEx, so they're going to make a loud noise. You're going to hit your buzzer at your end and just say, what's the topic? First one to hit the buzzer, just go ahead and speak out loud. We'll pretend the buzzers don't exist. Paul, Marilyn, Elaine, who's getting a topic from Archangel Michael? Just speak up, whoever's got the topic first. What's the topic? I got three hugely sensitive people combined for over 100 years. Archangel Michael's coming in. What topic are you getting? What's flashing in? Breathe, allow, no triota. Elaine, Marilyn, Paul, crickets. We got it. Paul's in on it. He's honing in. Marilyn's honing in. Elaine, you're already there. You got this. Who's going to speak up? What topic are we supposed to be talking about? Fine. Michael's been caned off the stage. Joy is in. What's our topic?
Take joy. I will take joy.
Joy for 1,000. What's the topic we're supposed to talk about?
I saw Joy last night in the out-of-body travel state, and I want to tell you about it.
Yes, please. Thank you. And you win the whatever you win in okay. A new car. Okay. What happened last night? What was the story?
So I was dealing with a spiritual counseling person in the mystical spheres, not one that I have on Earth. And Joy arrived and she was wearing, and of course now, of course, so has he, because he knows what we're talking about. But, so Joy arrives and she is a beautiful large angel with a very long flowing pink type, very iridescent type gown type thing. Yeah, she's very, very beautiful, but very live, I guess is what I would say. You should probably go down, but we're going to just kind of go with it, I guess. Get out of my hair. So what happened was we were at the tail end of this spiritual counseling session with this female, and she came in, she waved her hands over the stars. We were in the galactic heavens, and a score appeared in the heavens, a score of music. And I started hearing this music, and it was this music, beautiful heavenly music. I would call it music of the spheres, but it was different. And I think this is important for you, Michael, and that's why I'm insisting on telling you. And so what happened was this spiritual counseling client was trying to leave because we had been with her for a couple of hours. I was with someone else. We were both helping this person. And he was like, wait a minute, something's going on here. You might want to see this. But anyway, so I came over to the musical score, and this is what's important for you, Michael, to start praying on being open to with joy. She was directing me to look at the lyrics in the score. And it was this unusual kind of music. It was not, I guess if you were going to compare it to something, it might be like Gregorian chant, but it wasn't Gregorian chant. It would be, if you compared it to something like that, maybe it was like more like a Hildegard von Bingen type of a chant, but well beyond that, you know. It was something very, from a very celestial, well beyond type sphere. And so this was such a very impossible to describe. It was music from a place far beyond what we would hear down on earth, but it would be like maybe like a Hildegard von Bingen type sound on massive steroids, and vibrations and vibrations far beyond what we have here. But what she pushed my attention towards were the lyrics. And the lyrics were these amazing words. Some of them were earthly, and some of them were galactic, and some of them were beyond what I could understand. So some of the words were things like angelorum. This was all angelic script. Mm-hmm. And so this was from the angelic hierarchy. And it was like angelorum, hierarchum. It was, it was put in some kind of way that I could sort of, pull out a few things. But I was looking at it, I was like, wow, this is not something I understand, but it's kind of like this angelic script. And these words are like what you would compare to maybe Latin, but it wasn't Latin. It was like an angelic Latin in the celestial spheres. And it was something she wanted me to make you aware of, that there's more to her than you know. There's more to her than you know. And there is music. There is music. And she was this very big, so like her body itself was kind of very lithe and small, but this gown that it just flowed on almost like into infinity. So she was like this very large, flowing, angelic being. I don't recall wings on her, but she was an angel, and she was from an angelic hierarchy of a kind that I had not encountered before. And so it was very beautiful. And I was so disappointed when I had to go, because I was like, oh, wow, I really want to remember these words specifically. But I remember things like angelorum, angelicorum, hierarchicum. It was like this Latin, it was like kind of giving this sense of it's not Latin, it's angelic script, but it's kind of like a Latin. You know what I mean? And it's not Gregorian chant. It's not Hildegard, but it's kind of like that, but so many vibrations higher and higher and higher. And it was so beautiful. And it was like the sound of it. It was one tone each. It was not like a chorus. It was not a choir. It was one tone. And it was like more like, it wasn't a voice. It was like a bell. So when the music was playing, it was like individual bell tones. I guess it would almost be more like, ironically, like Tibetan bells but not Tibetan bells, so far beyond Tibetan bells, but more like that, where the music was one note each. It wasn't harmonies, it wasn't voices, it wasn't organs or pianos. It was some kind of celestial bell that was so resonant that every tone of it impacted you and literally changed your composition. Every time you heard the next note, it changed your composition. And what's interesting is that all I heard were the sounds of these bells, even though in the music, which was as big as the sky, there were these lyrics. And so no one sang them. So that was interesting. I can't explain that, but the lyrics were in there and the lyrics were important. It was this angelic script. That's how she explained it to me, and that she came from this special angelic hierarchy. And this was important for you to know about her. And it was quite an honor to see her and meet her in this way. And I guess what I would leave it with was music, music, music.
She's a very big angel, and I definitely don't think we appreciate how big. Uh,
Yeah, yes.
El- Elaine and Paul, you have an opportunity. Just hear from Joy. You've got this. A yes or no. Could you say yes out loud if you got a yeah, sure. Yes, duh. You get a yes, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Elaine, did you get a yes?
Yes.
We're talking to like a professional musician in Elaine Yoshikawa, not only just playing, but everything else. A huge grasp of music. Let's bring in a few angels to be your ambassadors. Joy can be one. Archangel Michael can be one. Gabriel. Lock these in. You can experience that music, maybe. We'll let Joy be the ambassador of this. If both of you could close your eyes in just a second, but not yet, here's Harmony and Claire to be your personal ambassadors. Harmony's Harmony, but she chose tranquility. Don't ask me why. And Claire, resilience, but also clarity. And if you can start feeling light coming in, and here's for archangels if anybody needs more whoosh. But both Paul and Elaine and Marilyn, if you want to go back and do this again, you totally can. It's totally up to you. But Paul and Elaine, close your eyes, breathe extra, allow, no triota, and start to hear the music. I'm going to go quiet for 20 seconds, but I'm going to remind people to please start putting comments down, hit the like button, subscribe, and so on. And I'm going to blow through the microphone that's below the laptop today. I'm going to make a little extra sound. It'll sound like a faint whoosh sound. Catch a little aloha Hawaiian breeze on your nose. And I'll read a quote from an angel to buy a little time here for everybody at home. Remember how simple this is? Angels once said, sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all. Do it. And Paul or Elaine, if one of you could come back, how about Paul? Could we have you come back? I'm sorry to cut it off there. And can you start using words while Elaine keeps going and Marilyn's on her own? Paul, what are you experiencing, feeling, seeing, hearing?
I am remembering a very different kind of experience that I had last week, where it was early in the morning. I was awake and I was just lying in bed. And all of a sudden, I grew wings. And there were these huge wings that were attached to my, what's that part of the anatomy? The scapulas, the shoulders, anyway, shoulders. Big white wings, white feathered wings that stretched to almost the entire length of my body. And I just sat there for a while, well, laid down for a while, experiencing what those wings felt like, particularly as part of my back. And then there were a bunch of other angels around little ones, about a couple inches, white ones. They were all white. There were maybe 30 or 40 of them just congregating. And so that's what comes to my mind. I just remembered. I had forgotten about it. I did write it down in my journal last week and I forgot and now it's coming back. So I thought I would just talk about it.
Can I impromptu you with Charlotte? Does Charlotte have anything she wants to add to what you experienced, or it's relating it to what we were just talking about? Does she have any ad-libbing she wants to do?
Hmm.
And then Elaine, you're next. You're on the hot spot here. We're watching you.
No, nothing. I'm not really getting anything
Okay.
from
Elaine,
Charlotte. Yeah.
did you get music? Did you get a lot of love coming in? Did you get your own experience, a reminder on something? What'd you get?
Yeah, I got a reminder. So I've experienced angelic choirs. And it's just like Marilyn said, it's so above anything that you experience on this plane. You can't describe it. All I knew was I never wanted it to end. And I was so sad that I knew it was going to end and then I would have to come back down and not listen to that level of music. But I was also, as I was remembering this, I was seeing Pythagoras, and he was reminding me that we need to use these frequencies to heal. So every time we hear these angelic type frequencies, um, we're healing the humanity.
Beautiful. And Marilyn, we are coming to you in a second. I'm just blowing some sage. I think we only did this before the show. We've done this individually before. I'm in Texas. You three are in Arizona. So Arizona is the happening spot right now. As it's lighting or as you see the smoke, catch a little bit of sage. For folks at home, it might smell like campfire. Ask angels to make it nice. Get you out of your head into your heart. Red-tailed hawk feather, but a little blowing. Catch flowers if you wish, ocean. You want confetti in the air around you as light. Let angels surprise you. Just say, make it so. Paul, are you getting sage?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you getting anything else though? Do you mind asking your favorite angel of the moment to make it extra nice something? So you've set the request. And what's the extra nice something that you just got?
In Arizona, when it rains, the desert has a particular smell, and that's what I'm getting.
Damn, Skippy. And you didn't have any rain, and that's new, and that's something good. Elaine, and I cracked up Marilyn. Marilyn, we're really coming to you in a second, so hold on one sec. Elaine, what'd you get? Did you get a little sage?
I got sage and I got roses.
Okay, but you're still not off the hook. Do you mind asking love itself, or the Pleiadian love, or Lemurians, or galactic figures to come in and make something extra for you? Could be private, so you just say got it, and then you don't share. But, sharing's caring. Okay, do you want to share what you got, or is it private?
I have an ancient crystal skull, and her name is Cleo. And I've had we're very close at the soul level. And she just came up and put her hands above me and was showering me with the light of love.
I love it. Don't blame Canada. Don't blame angels. Blame Chloe on that one. She stepped in. Marilyn, did you experience sage, extra, and more? What can you share?
Definitely sage, a little bit of lavender.
Yay. Now, one last big interactive thing before we go linear again, and we'll check everyone's pulse for how they're doing for serious topics, linear panel. But we're going to have everyone put their hands up, just love and above, light and above. Yep, there we go. And but we can keep them steady just for a little bit so we don't freak out the audience. Okay. Allow. Just say yes out loud. You're giving permission to the universe, love and above only, angels, galactic beings, and Jesus and everybody else, Plato, his cousin, that philosopher we never heard of. Everyone just step it up. And are you feeling something on your palms? Paul, what do you feel for one, two, three, four, five adjectives? What do you got?
Tingling.
Okay, I didn't do it. Elaine, what are you feeling?
Tingling.
Damn. All right, Marilyn, what are you feeling? I'm starting to suspect the word tingling's coming in. But what do you feel?
Breeze. Cool breeze.
Oh, good. I love it. I'm gonna blow once, but I'm only gonna blow once to try to set the table. Can you have Archangel Michael come in, Archangels Gabriel, Metatron, Joy, or other? So anybody could come in that's an angel or a bunch of angels, hundreds of angels. It's all good. Just say yeah, got it, yes. When you've got your angels coming in, you got the very first one. You can see 100 more charging the line. Okay, Elaine's nodding, so that's an acknowledgement. Paul, you got some angels coming in. You feel the whoosh. Okay, Marilyn, you're good? You got something coming in?
Okay.
Good. All right, if you'll allow for some singing, choir, it can be, more 70s like that. Oh, the Rolling Stone song. What's the name of that famous movie from the 70s? It can be a more modern version of choir singing. Can't always get what you want. There's that choir singing at the beginning in that famous movie. You never meet Kevin Costner in it. He's dead, but the friends get together for the reunion in the house for the weekend. You know the movie. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Let angels sing. Just nod, since this is a very private, high vibe thing. Nod your chin if you're getting some singing or some high vibes coming in, or you're getting extra. And Elaine's nodding. Elaine's looking very happy. This is good. Paul's nodding. Paul's not smiling enough. So we're going to give a dad joke in a second, which is what's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips, but iris counts as well. And now Marilyn's laughing a ton, but Marilyn, are you feeling it more than you're hearing it? Or are you hearing it more than you're feeling it both?
I'm hearing some things. That's true.
Okay. If,
Mike,
yep.
it was the big chill.
Big chill. You're the best. I'm blank. I'm such a blank today. I've like literally, I forgot. I was trying to bring up Marchot. That's why I was looking down why Marilyn was talking about music, and I'm trying Marchand or Marchot. Back when music took a little leap from like two-dimensional to three-dimensional. It sounds like bagpipes, but it's not. It's French. It's flute. 1600s? I don't know. It's beyond my pay grade. I had it saved from one of Paul's and I conversations a long time ago. Okay, if each of you could begin to ask for higher vibes or allow for higher vibes, or there's a better verb, I don't have English right now. Bring in higher vibes. And you can start to move your hands down by your sides if it's more comfortable, more kumbaya, more concert. Yep, whatever's good. But if you could just allow for more high vibes to come in. I'm going to blow once or twice. I think I forgot to blow, or maybe I did. I don't know. I'm blowing again. And if you can let light come in, whether it's eyes shut, eyes open, or just feeling the light. And then if you could have a particular point that you want to make, but that's galactically, universally, interdimensionally love and above driven. Paul, you're not yawning, so this is a good thing. Only touching your eyes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was, I've had 5 or 6 yawns already.
Oh, I didn't see a single one. That's funny. Okay. Elaine, what can you share with us? Because you look like you were hyper engaged off on Paradise Island, and we want to hear the tell all. Did Jim end up getting engaged to Sarah? No, that's not it. Okay. Elaine, tell us about a little bit about what went down. What were you experiencing?
Um, oh, this is embarrassing.
Okay, we'll just abstract it a little for us, and then that way you can have it a little more cut and dry.
I just saw K-pop Demon Hunter, right? And there's a song called Golden, and the music is just amazing because it's lighting up the whole earth. And I can because it's a global phenomenon right now. And the vibrations that are coming off of it, it's so high. And it's actually perfect for 2025. You can go right into it and get the new vibrations that are coming in, the new energetic patterns.
I love that. And I've seen that band. I haven't listened to the music, but as soon as we get off, I'll be doing that. And I love Grimes for being like interdimensional light being like music. It's insane, off the charts, but she's been at it for a while. Okay, Paul, what did you get? What were you experiencing? What can you share?
I was hearing harps.
Nice.
When I hear harps, I figure angels are somewhere near.
It's like that, It's a Wonderful Life, when a bell rings, an angel gets
Yeah.
its wings. But were they harps, or
Yeah, they
we
were
had this
harps.
discussion before a few weeks
Yeah,
ago?
we did. We did actually.
Leers, liars. Somebody is going to help us with that. Elaine, you're like a
Yeah.
music professional. Is it? And Marilyn, is it liar? Leers?
Am I what?
The name of that. Oh my God, that's awesome. We got to go to Elaine real quick. That's just another shorter version that you see the Greeks held and strummed up here and others. Um,
Fire.
Marilyn, what did you have happen while you were tuning in, tuning out, and going in so you couldn't go without?
Well, if I may, I was just immediately taken back to this song by Yes from the early 70s. Can I,
It could
it kind
happen to you. It could happen to me. Go ahead. Yeah. Or is that
it
yes?
kind of the lyrics kind of touch into the whole thing we've been talking about. So I'll just read you some of the lyrics if that's all right. It's called the song was called Total Mass Retain. And I'd have to ask everybody to listen to these lyrics from a mystical space because this is a genius song that was written in the early 70s and explains the entire mystical journey, honestly. So it's close to the edge, down by the river. My eyes convinced, eclipsed with the younger moon, attained with love. It changed as almost strained amidst clear manna from above. I crucified my hate and held the word within my hand. There's you, the time, the logic, or the reasons we don't understand. Sad courage claimed the victims standing still for all to see as armored movers took appreciated to overlook the sea. There, since the chord, the license, or the reasons we understood will be down at the edge, close by a river, close to the edge, round by the corner, close to the end, down by the corner, down at the edge, round by the corner. And it continues. And he talks about I get up, I get down, I get up, I get down. It's the reincarnation cycle. And he's talking about, he goes into the mass retain, which is the, sorry about my voice, talks about the mass retain, which is the the entire deposit of the thoughts of humankind that is within the swell of Earth's atmosphere. So he's entering the mass retain, and it's the process of the human soul trying to crucify their hate and come above and down by the edge, close by the river, trying to make the crossing. It's a beautiful song. Another one that came to me was an old Kansas song. And let's see if it still comes to me because now I was just in the yes world. But now, what was the song? Hold on. Um, sorry, I'm going into too many worlds at the same time. It's like sorry, lost it.
That's okay. Paul, what are you noticing in the last 10 minutes? How would you describe you all have let go? You've interacted with the universe or all that already is within and around you. Can you say something pious right now?
Pious that I noticed in the past 10 minutes.
Yep.
Hmm, something pious. Make me one with everything.
And you already are. Okay, here's a serious question. Letting go, allowing, what's one of your favorite reminders. Just how can we go full stop and be here more often? Elaine?
Favorite reminders?
Yeah, is it have a cup of tea, go for a walk, hug a tree, take a nap with intention?
I like to pray. I just like to be with God. I want to be still.
Words through the heart. I love it. Marilyn.
Always choose your highest part.
Hey, that's 2 for 2 for Pius. No pressure, Paul, but you've been outgunned. So what do you got?
I like to just breathe.
Oh, I don't know. That was like, it looked ugly in the poker game and then royal flush, bam. So just breathe. Okay.
Now you can
Um,
see why we like hanging out together.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want to see you all in a poker game at all. Okay. I'm going to read a couple quotes. These are from either famous people currently alive, passed over. It could be Herman Melville, it could be Gary Zukav, it can be Winnie the Pooh, or an angel, or Deepak or somebody. Okay, I'm going to do like 7 or 8. You don't have to remember these. Just try to seize on one, and you don't even have to reference it when you start speaking. You may have an entirely new thought, so it's almost like a game of disassociation. Angels once said ego is a temporary lack of compassion. That's one. The highest form of ignorance is when you reject something you don't know anything about. Wayne Dyer. The shift is upon mankind towards compassion and gentleness. Charlotte, the blue ball light angel, one of my business managers. Okay, and the last one. Positivity is abundance. I'm going to bring that one back up. That's Archangel Gabriel. I probably attributed it to Michael. I always misattribute everything. Which one jumped out at you, Elaine?
The shift.
Okay. The shift is upon mankind towards compassion and gentleness. Tell us more. Yeah, you walked into it again. It's Bear Trap Central here, so congratulations.
Towards compassion,
I
gentleness.
mean, mankind, are we ready for more compassion, kindness,
Oh,
gentleness, and less
absolutely.
less rat race?
We're always ready for that. That's our nature. Um, let's see how to I'm trying to come down. I'm sorry. Um, so I think I'm gonna bring it all the way down, sort of to the realm of becoming and talk about human development and spiritual development. So the psychological aspects of human development, um, what we need to do is, actually, and so this goes back to what Marilyn was talking about. Um, um, the psychological aspects of knowing things like, where does your anger come from? Um, w- Actually, what's really good sometimes is being in a group that triggers you, because um, that's when you know you have something to work on. So so a lot of time, so this is where we learn. This is where souls learn. This is where souls can develop. And so when we're in situations that show us, okay, I'm not as patient as I thought because I'm in this situation. You first of all, you can acknowledge it. And then you should, instead of judging yourself, accept it and then try to change it so that you become more patient. And that would be true for any of the positive virtues. Uh, for compassion, for gentleness, for kindness. We can always do better. It doesn't matter how kind you are or how kind you think you are. Um, so what we want to do is put ourselves into those situations that help our psychological growth, and that also is in line and parallel with our spiritual growth. Um, it's no coincidence. I mean, it's more than a coincidence that the virtues, that Aristotle talks about, that St. Thomas of Aquinas talks about, that the Catholic Church talks about, all the religious traditions, they're all pointing towards be more compassionate, be more loving, be more gentle, be more kind, be more tolerant. And that's on a psychological level, that helps us to develop as human beings, but it also helps us to develop as spiritual people, right? That helps us go towards the angelic realms. That helps us to unite with God because it's changing our frequencies. Um, yeah, but that's enough.
Marilyn.
Oh, I would, I liked the one with Wayne Dyer about rejecting things we don't understand. And I take that as an offshoot right from where Elaine left off, which is that the next step, and this is something I learned in an out-of-body experience, our job is not to be understood, but to be understanding. So it is then the next step is to actually take the time to listen and to understand these things that we don't understand before we make these quick judgments, which is what Wayne Dyer is referring to and what we see a lot of in our society. And so take the time to listen. Don't just give the 6 or 20-second soundbite judgment to the things that you are rejecting. Actually listen. And then at the same point, it's okay if you disagree, even after you listen, but try to understand where those people or those organizations might be coming from and understand where you are alike and where you are different, and incorporate that so that you can make them more human. Whereas, this is where we agree, this is where I do disagree still. But I have understanding, and I, do not have to have feelings like negative feelings like hatred or anger or generate the negative emotions, because they become unnecessary when you try to better understand. Even when you're dealing with someone with extreme views, understanding can help to temper quite a bit of the negative emotions, and help you to have the ability to come to better solutions in how to deal with that. And again, always looking at where is your power in the situation. So, if you are, let's say you're in the committee to work out world peace, then your need of understanding is going to be at a different level than if you're just a regular person who is not involved in the peace process, right? So your level of understanding and the requirements and how much you're going to have to temper your anger is different than if you're going to be engaging in, actual negotiations with somebody in a peace process. So keep those things in mind. Remember, where is my level of control in these situations? And that also should play a part in your understanding and what kinds of negative feelings you then make yourself aware of that you're generating, and whether or not you really need to generate them if you're giving the time to understanding. 6 and 20 seconds is not understanding.
I love it. And I've been trying to do, yes, song names, the titles of their songs from the 70s and 80s, sort of like Michael Keaton does in The Other Guys. I don't know if anyone's seen that comedy, but Michael Keaton, every time he talked, he was quoting TLC. And they're like, you're quoting TLC. He's like, I don't even know who that band is. But Yes's songs are so deep and their titles of their songs are absolutely almost impossible. I would need an Oscar, a Nobel laureate to be able to pull it off and inject it into the conversation. Beautifully said, Marilynn. Paul, we're coming to you, but you can choose door number C. Do you want a fresh set of quotes? Do you want two or three more quotes just for the fun of it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Got like 18 pages here of quotes. I'm going to go to the classic one that I say the most on this show. I've said it at least 20 times spread out over 2.5 years. You change the way that you shape the light which is flowing through you by changing your consciousness. Another one that's on point, Mother Teresa, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. And lastly, we're going deep to the back here. Let's see. Joe Shu, I love it. One of our ancient, what do we call them? Zen masters. Searching causes one's income to be late. I love that one. Searching causes one's income to be late. Okay, which one struck you the most? And do you want to go off the reservation? No offense to three Native American chiefs. But I'll put up red shirt for influence here. Red shirt, Lakota Sioux chief, gentlest mom in the world, softest spoken. Elaine, get something from him on the side. Marilynn, if you want to feel him, hear him, catch one of those sacred 60 sacred scents coming in. Juniper, sweetgrass, pine, desert, pinon. Elaine, what are you getting already? Sage? What are you getting? Sweetgrass? Wildflowers?
I'm seeing red rocks.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Blame Redshirt. Paul, I bought all the time in the world for you. Redshirt can hand you the cue card with the answer on it. Which one did you want to react to?
I could react to all of them.
Okay, well, go ahead because we know you when you get going.
Yeah, I know. Let's see, which one do I want to talk about? I'm gonna have to stick with Elaine and the shift.
Hmm.
That I've been focused on that a lot lately, and how humanity is going through the big shift right now. And and I think that's one of the reasons there's so much chaos, actually, because a shift means that there's big change going on. And humans, although the nature of human experience is change, well, actually, it's twofold. There's a part of the human experience that's always changing, and there's a part of it that never changes. But we'll talk about change for now. Most humans um, push against change. They don't like change. And because this shift is going on, which means there's enormous change going on, I think that's a good explanation as to why there's so much chaos going on right now. And I think we just need to buckle down and find the connection with the part of us that never changes. That allows us to sail our boat through choppy waters. It's almost as if you have a boat that has no rudder. It's going to be thrown around by the climate, the wind, the waves, the currents. But as soon as you put a rudder on that boat, you can navigate and survive through all of the chaos that's going on. And I think that rudder corresponds to that inner part of us that's never changing, the spiritual part of us. And if we can connect with that part, we'll be able to navigate through all the change and all the chaos.
Beautifully said. Look, Seneca said it pretty well. One must steer the boat, not talk. And I'm going to do a quote from Abe. Abe, the Abraham of old, angel today, he'll tell you he was a jerk in human form, but he's on everyone's team, very masculine figure. Basic questions are eternal. Well, the big question to him was, what about compassion in mankind? And he said, basic questions are eternal. And a key part of what it is to be human, that was around 2014. I thought that was deep. Still working on that one 11 years later. Okay, you're not all off the hook just yet, but we are starting to wrap up. Um, Don't go chasing waterfalls. I had to do a TLC reference since I brought up trying to insert a song title in somewhere along here. Everybody gets to ask a lightning round question of the other, but it's got to be short phrase. So you're going to have like a minute timer on you. Marilyn, you're first. You get to ask Elaine a question. What question do you want to ask her? Is it personal? Is it a leading question? What is it?
What what is the most important thing you've learned from teaching young people in your classes?
The most important thing. I've learned so much from them. Ah, uh, probably that, yeah, you're gonna be surprised. They're just so unpredictable. You don't know what's coming next. So always be open, be tolerant, be patient and loving.
Elaine, you get to pass it forward, which is what this is all about here on planet Earth. But they didn't really mean game show questions. So you get to ask Paul a question. Paul, you have a minute or less to answer.
Um,
Perfect.
Elaine
Perfect.
is on the hot seat. But here's Joy and here's Archangel Michael to help Elaine out of a box.
uh, listen. Well, okay, well, this is just what change? Oh, I'm kind of asking a personal question.
That's okay.
Maybe
I
that's
think
not appropriate.
Paul can handle it. If you're going to
Yeah.
step up on a mind,
I'll
body,
I'll
spirit panel,
I'll
he'll
give
handle
you
it.
I'll give you everything but my social security number
So what changes do you see coming up for you?
for me. Actually, I see an expansion of my reach of my teaching. I see certain things popping up, irons in the fire, so to speak, that allow me to expand my reach of teaching.
Duh. And then I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to put up two angels. Each of you are invited to ask and listen. This has to do with all three of you. It's a little pushy, but only a few people get to the end right now of these things. So it'll stay relatively anonymous for another decade, 2 years, 3 years. We're going to come back to you, Paul, about how time might not be so linear in about 3 years when we look back. Things might not be as linear as we thought. I'd love for you to address that. We stumbled on it like maybe the last time we talked, and it was really deep. But for now, could each of you ask Joy and Charlotte and then close your eyes? Have them show you your Heaven to Earth organization. I'm just making up a name. Heaven to Earth organization, the three of you put on to start teaching younger people and others jointly. Whoops. Did I say that out loud? So Joy and Charlotte, see if you all collaborated a little. Of course, you'll need a guest speaker from Texas once a year, but the bottom line is hear what you hear, don't judge, and get a visual. It's worth 1,000 words. Elaine's locked in, Marilyn's locked in, Paul's getting locked in. He's going to breathe more. He's going to yawn extra because he's really getting it deep and ingrained, and they're going to go around everything and then hit home bullseye after bullseye after bullseye, splitting each arrow that hit the bullseye previously. No try Yoda, always try Archangel Gabriel. And Paul, we were waiting for that yawn. So, who's the we? Angels. Watch Peaceful Warrior, the movie, the bridge scene. Socrates is played by Nick Nolte. The kid, oh my God, I always know his name. I forgot his name. The kid who's the main figure, the gymnast, comes running up. He's out of time. And after he gets tossed into the creek to clear his mind, he's like, hurry up. Could you teach me what I'm supposed to learn? Tosses him over the bridge into the creek. Dan Millman is the character in the movie. He comes running up and he goes, what's that all about? And at some point, Nick Nolte, as Socrates, the adult Mr. Miyagi figure, it's an adult Karate Kid. You think it's a sports movie. He says, we want you out of your mind, Dan. We. Paul, who's the we? What's going on? Mankind's going to grow, and it's written. It's happening. This is a real thing, not the 70s, 80s, 90s not a lot of the YouTube shows you see out there. You said something interesting a few weeks ago about maybe time won't be as linear, that there's such a shift you might not recognize the day-to-day today a little happier and shinier. Let's have you go 1,000 meters up, 1,000 miles up, the billion-dollar question. What's it potentially looking like with such a shift?
There's going to be a lot of things that shift, and the key thing that's going to shift is the body. I believe, and I've seen that the body is going to open up new ways of experiencing. I think that the body has a tremendous capacity to grow and experience things in new ways. An example being multidimensionally. And so that answers the question of how are we going to move on from linear to multidimensional experience. I think it's already part of the apparatus in the body that is in the process of being, shall we say, turned on.
Wonderful. Good job. Marilyn, you've got an answer here.
I do. Okay, sure. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think that's for me, that's hard to know the answer to. I do know that, I'm taking a lot of steps to reach out. I have a very young audience right now. So I think we're about 61% 25 to 36-year-olds. So we've actually shifted that. It used to be 55 and up. And so we're doing things to shift, bringing in the audience of the younger people, trying to, um, uh, get this multidimensional awareness to the younger people. I do think, and I do see, and I've had a lot of visions about the Out of Body Travel Foundation being an organization that grows and into the future long after I'm gone and stuff. And I do love the idea of the three of us working together. I don't know exactly how that would be done, but I love that idea. So you planted a good seed.
Elaine, I'm going to put up Minwalla, only silhouette photo I've got. My guardian angel, 80,000 other people's guardian angel. I'm going to plug, as I always continuously do, episode 110, August 30th, 2024. Dr. Karen Wyatt, retired physician. When she was 9 or 10, this is the angel who showed up in all white, almost like a Hallmark angel, but it wasn't Angela, that Hallmark angel. It's Min. She knew from that moment on, it was safe in bed at her home. She saw an all white angel. She knew she wanted to be a doctor. Flash forward to I think last year, Redondo Beach, California. She got to meet her for 30 minutes as a full-on human. So I encourage everyone out there, just put it out there. Don't worry about the details. Let go. Universe is pretty big. It can handle the details. You want to meet an angel, you'll get a hello from a stranger and then look back, they're gone. You get help with your broken tire. You hear about those all the time. But you can have coffee with them for a whole hour. Why not? All right, you got Min, Elaine. Can you concoct something, listen, just boomerang, any which way and loose? What can you allow for to come in? Let Min, she's Pacific Princess, soft-spoken professor. What are you getting that you can share about what it all might look like down the road?
What it all might look like?
Yeah,
A little bit more specific.
you can close your eyes and have her flash something to you, and then you'll do the best you can to relay in words. Breathe extra, no triota. Everyone gets an extra dad joke. Santa's reindeer, Blitzen and Dancer, just those two. Nobody has to remember Santa's reindeer. But why do Blitzen and Dancer drink so much coffee? Because they're Santa's Starbucks. If you're laughing, you're letting go. Mother Teresa said laughter is love. Have Mother Teresa come in and help out. It could be like that 2001, 2010, whatever Space Odyssey movie. Something wonderful is going to happen, but less kooky like that sci-fi film. No two suns suddenly in our solar system. Okay. Elaine, you touched on it. You touched the fabric of time, space, angels. They must have given you something. You're really good at letting go. What'd you get?
Okay, so
Ooh,
this,
look at that look. Hold on. I got to interrupt as a host, MC, whatever I am, show host. You have a look. Woo, we want to hear this one.
well, now you're making me self-conscious. Um, this is what Marilyn touched on. I don't remember in what capacity, but um, bringing heaven to earth. Okay. I just came from a Daughters of Heaven conference in Sedona, and what I was shown is, and I don't want to make this because it's not about, it's about feminine energy, the goddess energy. And we talk about Mother Mary, but it's the galactic mother. It's not necessarily, the Catholic Mother Mary. It can be for people, but it's much more than that. It's very cosmic. And it's those energies that help us, those of us who volunteered for this, to bring God's energy, to bring God's frequencies, to bring God's love uh, to the world, because that's what the world needs the most right now. Um, So that's sort of the vision I'm seeing is the light that's coming from above and it's being disseminated by all these wonderful people like, the panel and yourself. They're bringing out distributing, transmitting those kinds of frequencies so that more people can again go within, experience God within, and also see God outside, whether it's your enemy or somebody maybe you disagree with, it's still all the same. And that eventually we're all going to be united.
I love this. And very last interactive exercise. It's going to be the
Can
big
I
man.
add to that? Can I add to that,
Oh,
Michael?
please, 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 please.
Just because she mentioned some things. So like she mentions the Mother Mary in her galactic essence. And I just wanted to bring up, just to add to that, Our Lady in Light, who comes from the Pleiades. She wears the purple, the deep purple, golden crown. And I've seen her when she comes from the Pleiadian starship, and that is exactly who you're talking about. And so, when we talk about the Pleiades, where she arrives from, they come to teach about oneness and love, and they bring the seven tones of life.
Mm.
And so these seven tones of life are actually virtues and qualities and emanations. And so you're talking exactly about the exact same thing. And these things are, people can understand them and explore them more if they want to. In The Mysteries of the Redemption, one of my books. But that's, Our Lady in Light is who she's talking about from the Pleiades.
Now we're space trucking, and that's a deep purple reference, the band, because you said deep purple for the color of her
Exactly.
Bettman wardrobe. Okay, lightning round. Bottom line is, in a little bit, you're going to give a mantra, and we're going to start to close this truly out. But we are going to take a last step with Mary, Big Mary, tight with angels, the whole cosmos. Now, if you're from Ireland watching, you got to have it this way. So I'm going to just bring her up if you want to lock her in that way. But I'm going to do a modern version. The modern version, the photo will move. You'll get more sparkle in the eyes. You'll get a smile. It's an Israeli actress. Don't tell anybody. But you can also put your hand out like you're getting $100. The show is not sending you a check. Put your hand off screen and get $100 unless Elaine's going to get caught. No, she's got off camera space. Put your hand out like you're getting $50 and it's a landing pad for a ferry. But in this case, it's Mary coming in. You're going to feel her. You can get rainbow light in your hand. You can look down and see it. You're going to do it after you get something from her. Let her move in the photo. Try too hard, you're going to get glitter in the air, rainbow glitter left and right. You won't have to vacuum or write a mean note a week later. Still getting a professional carpet cleaner come in. Have Mary come in and deliver a final message for the audience. You're going to be the relayer of that message. But if your eyes are closed, when you do look down, open your eyes, you'll look down in a little bit and see in your hand whatever light she wants to show you, rainbow light, pure compassion for all of mankind. She's love, she's everything we need. If we all had her faith and trust, there'd be no more need for fear or worry. Three Native American chiefs said that about her. And I'll go with Paul first. Paul, what are you hearing from Mary? And first of all, did the photo move at all? Did you feel the light? Do you see the light? Did you put your hand out and did you get a little something there? Oh, you're muted, Paul. Sorry, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I have had this phrase bouncing around in my head um, with us today, hence the joke that I started out with, but make us all one with everything. That's what I keep coming back to.
I love it. And Paul, did you get an extra at least whoosh, love coming in, compassion coming in? Did you see any light? Did you feel it at least?
Well, I'm getting like a maybe because Marilyn was talking about the Deep Purple, and then you brought up the group Deep Purple, but I'm getting like a stream, a river of Deep Purple
Wow.
coming into my heart.
Smoke on the water. Okay, Elaine, what did you get? And by the way, Loud House has a crazy version. If you like really funky, loud, Loud House is a very obscure band, but it was in that FBI movie with Keanu Reeves, Point Break. So that's the beach scene, quarterback Johnny Utah. That's the music that played. It's Deep Purple cover song. Okay, Elaine, I stalled long enough. Here's Mary. Did you connect pretty deep? Deep Purple.
Yeah, so I saw a column of brilliant white light, and that was just I was immersed in it. And I just heard the word trust.
I love it. And can you have a very special Pleiadian come in and add a cherry to the top of the sundae for us? You don't have to say the name, but just know that they're love. Have a Pleiadian come in and just add a little extra for us. What's the extra that you're getting? It might be just a squeeze, a hug. You feel the hand on your shoulder full on. It might be words, though. What are you getting?
The word gift.
Is love, compassion, the whole universe? Is that the gift we're being given?
Hmm. The gift.
Yay. Okay, Marilyn, you're the last talker here because then we're all going into mantra moments, which is you deliver a mantra, say it 3 times. People can feel that your energy. They can hit pause, they can put their hands out. You're sharing it's only love and above for decades to come, chaperoned by angels. Marilyn, what's this about Big Mary? Is there something about Mary we need to know?
Oh, okay. Well, the things I saw were the seashell in my hand with a giant white pearl, pearl of great price, which is the kingdom of heaven. And I got my Kansas song, which is Carry On My Wayward Son, There'll Be Peace When You Are Done. And I wanted to kind of shoot out from Paul where he was going with this universal field of being, this stream, this river of existence. And what I was continuing to hear, which is something I hear a lot in the out-of-body travel state, which is take a little walk in the movement today.
So it's either cry me a river or take a walk on the wild side. I got you. Okay, everyone, let's go deep. Or go home. You're already home, so let's go deep. I'm just holding up random angel photos. They're not even fully showing right now, and you've already got your own teams. Just close your eyes or leave your eyes open or say, got it. What mantra do you want to share? You got to repeat it 3 times. It's to help a person if they were to say, if it's Dorothy, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Click those heels and bam, you are back in Kansas anymore. Um, Marilyn, you already got your mantra or no? Elaine, you got yours. Okay, you're nodding. You're on. What's your mantra you want to say 3 times?
Today is the day. Today is the day. Today is the day.
Not quite, but almost the. If anybody remembers the 80s band, Today is the Day might actually be the name of the song. I can't remember. Beautiful. Well done. The is a great progressive band, sort of back when it started opening up, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, yeah. Today's the day. I think that's the name of the song. Okay, I'll look it up while Marilyn's going next. Marilyn,
I'm gonna go back to take a little walk in the movement today. Take a little walk in the movement today. I want people to go to the depth of what this really means. Take a little walk in the movement today. We're talking about the movement, the universal field of being. Take that walk in the movement today.
Today is the Day is the name of the 1992 song of an American noise rock and experimental metal band founded by Steve Austin, the $6 million man. Not okay. But we can still have a $6 million answer. We'll make it a $6 billion answer because Paul Sugar's dialing deep into his Billy Crystal side because he's got a great sparkly laugh and a great sense of humor.
Okay, feeling love with everyone and everything everywhere. Feeling love with everyone, everything everywhere. Feeling love with everyone, everything everywhere.
I'll say, don't go chasing waterfalls. Step into one. Let the rainbow light waterfall. I'm not going to repeat it 3 times. Let the rainbow light waterfall be your mantra. Let your glass be full and overflowing with rainbow light overflowing. There's your waterfall, but with monsoon rains that are also rainbow light and more. No limits is no limits. You all have been wonderful. So exciting. I have a feeling we'll be doing this again. Stick around for afterwards. And thank you, Paul Sugar. Thank you, Elaine Yoshikawa. Thank you, Marilynn Hughes, with said guest crash.
Mr. Binkles, Mr. Binkles.
Mr. Binkle. I love it. Again, you've been phenomenal, and there's been a lot of phenomenal here. Thank you again.
You're very welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Always a
Thank you.
pleasure. Always a pleasure to be together.
Yes, it is. It's always awesome.